Welcome to BlackBull Markets, our live stream today, 31st of August 2020. Myself, Mr. Andre, Mr. Philip, and we also have Mr. Carl Quindo behind the camera, behind the scenes. So today, markets have really kicked into action already this morning. We're seeing most volatility in the Australian dollar and the Kiwi dollar. Ones that I've been particularly keen at looking at is, of course, the Aussie. Let's see if we just bring this up. We were speaking about this, of course, last Friday, and it's all about the depreciation of the dollar. So the dollar index down now to 18-month lows.
Wow. I saw on the weekend we had a chat asking us what gold analysis is, so I'm assuming they'll probably be the first one.
So just do let us know your analysis, what you guys want us to speak about.
Okay, so we got a couple. We got GJ is the first one, looks like it.
Yeah. We're just gonna delete everything in this chart. Alright, so I think someone's already called out some GJ long signals this morning. Someone's been short GJ for a while, not doing too well. Let's get rid of those trade levels. So yeah, obviously we've started off pretty bullish this morning. If you look at 5 minute, that's alright. Some volatility at the market open. Obviously, it was a nice range-bound market on Friday, moving slowly to the upside, and now a big spurge in the early morning session. Of course, like I said, NFP is coming up on Friday, so there is an expectation for another 1 million jobs to be created in the U.S. economy. But as we've been seeing, the correlation is basically U.S. stocks up, dollar down, and everything else that's really a respective currency is moving against the dollar higher. So pound, Aussie, Kiwi, Euro, Canadian dollar, that's what's been moving upwards. So here's some GJ analysis for you guys.
Oh, okay, I'm analyzing. I was just going to draw while you're talking. Okay, well, let's have a look. So we pretty much had it before the market. We'll just get rid of this little guy. So it started off with that nice support. Is that, just a random kind. I'm pretty sure there's some resistance on that side, and then we started seeing kind of this move into this channel. We had a hit on that we saw was kind of close to a previous support zone, and then we started moving up to the channel. We had a bit of struggle at this high. I'll get rid of that. At this sort of this little structure over here. You can't even see that, man. What's the pink?
What time frame is this?
This is the 5 minute time
5
frame.
minute GJ, guys. 5 minute GJ.
So what we can see is we had that nice little structure. We saw support was created. That's internal support / resistance zone. Saw a couple of touches on that, especially after the zone got hit. We saw a nice breakthrough. We came back, put a consolidation down the zone, and we started creating this rejection. We saw it start to push down. We saw a couple of rejections on the internal support / resistance zone. Then we saw eventually come back to this line touch. And now we could finally connect from here. So we had the connection from here, here, and here. We got 3 touches on that trend line, so we know it's nice and strong. We've had 2 touches on this upper trend line, so we could start connecting here and start to create our channel. Then we saw that 3rd touch. We saw a push back down. We had another internal support / resistance zone here. We saw that consolidation over here. We saw a wick touch after rejection up here. We saw that wick touch. We saw the blast past, no retest, and we saw a nice push to the upside. So that was a nice quick clean move. Now what we're seeing is we're seeing the push come back down. We saw it looking to possibly test this, potentially a sort of a trend line. If we do see a rejection during this Asian session, we could see a push back higher. If not, if it pushes back in, look for moves inside. Keep in mind we have support / resistance areas, but we could potentially continue back inside that channel. So that's a pretty cool little
nice.
Technicals work
nice.
on all levels.
Short-term GJ analysis if you're looking to jump in any trades. If you jump to some higher time frames as well, Mr. Philip, you'll be able to see this breakout that we saw on Friday, which a lot of people were talking about.
Wow, that's really good. I like that.
Now it's returning back to that channel, so we could see a rejection around this level as well. No, just tracing
Hey,
some lines.
so this is minute 30. Yeah, GJ, M30 GJ. We got decent amount of people online right now. So do keep letting us know your requests, guys. We got gold, we got Nasdaq coming up. We got also the Aussie dollar, pound Aussie. Here is GJ, guys.
So this is why it's so important to check those wicks, because we saw this is it surprised me how strong wicks really are, because you don't really think about it, because if you do look to the left you kind of see, wow, you know, we've got this nice clean structure, but if you look inside of it, this 30-minute, we saw there's literally just a little bit of a wick here, there's a wick back here, and they pretty much meet up, and what we saw on the zone is a perfect rejection of that wicked area. So it's we need to always be careful of that. So this is why take profits are so ideal, because we see this nice support / resistance zone. We saw a move above, we saw a retest of this candle, and then just a complete blast up to it. Obviously a lot of strength, so you think it could continue to move up. However, little rejection, so obviously take profit, potentially half your take profit. If you wanted to move your stop loss to break even, you would have obviously got stopped out, but at least you took some profit up here. So always keep that in mind when you do trade. Take profits are the second most important thing about risk management. First one is your stop loss, and then take profit.
We had a question about Australian dollar and Japanese yen correlation. So there's no real correlation between Aussie yen, but if you do look at Aussie yen chart, you will see that the yen has been pretty much stable, similar in a range-bound market. If I just bring up or whichever one, sorry Mr. Andre, I'll grab Mr. Phillips if you want. Alright, just to answer that question quickly before we jump into this next chart, right? I'm going to bring dollar yen into a monthly time frame. You can see ever since 2016, very similar, pretty almost one-to-one patterns, because we've only been in that 110 area down to 101. So there's a 10% deviation within 4 years. So the point I'm making with this is that the dollar and the yen are very much correlated. So if that means the Aussie is rallying against the US dollar, you're more than likely to see it rallying against the yen. So let's have a look at the Aussie yen. And the reason the dollar and the yen are so correlated is because their interest rates have pretty much been aligned. So if you look at that chart, it looks very similar to the Aussie dollar as well. So we've had this big appreciation following that sell-off, of course, on March 23rd, and then now we're just looking at higher levels in the Aussie dollar. If you ask a lot of analysts, like, it's approaching key breakout zones, and it has been as well. This is the Aussie yen. You can definitely see a target heading up into that 80 area, 80, 81s. You're looking for any reason for the Aussie to push forward, and that is because people are taking their money out of the dollar, investing into commodities, and the Aussie dollar is, instead of being correlated with the yen, it's commodity positive. So as your commodities like iron ore, nickel, natural gas, steel all increase in value, you'll see the Aussie also increase as well as oil too. So this is just an example of that commodity rise, right? This is natural gas. It's been in a range-bound market since kind of early 2019, well, pretty much all throughout 2019, 2018, and now you've got that breakout, and there is a view for this to head higher as well to cover up those gains. So it's really, we're in a commodity bid market at the moment, and on the back of that, the Aussie will rally. Similarly, let's bring up WTI crude. Again, another rallying market to the upside, and so yeah, that's the movement on the Aussie. Now, if you just take it back to the Aussie, we did an analysis on this last week as well, so do follow that if you have not already. So we're already pushing past 73 cents, and we've got this target here at 74 cents. You get a break of 74, it opens up 80 cents. So you're looking at another push up in the Aussie this week. Of course, you've got NFP, so any more excuse to just sell your dollar is what investors are looking at with the dollar index at multi-year lows. So this is what we're looking at for the Aussie, in my opinion.
And then I think we've got gold as well on our charts too. Jeez.
Wow. Look at that wick.
What's that?
That's gold.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like it.
That's
I see it.
That's a weekly chart.
Oh, no, look. Yeah.
Go for it, sir.
Okay. Well, I like this weekly for a long term. Well,
Someone said COVID transmitting pen to pen. We love
Alright.
COVID out here in New Zealand.
we love it. That's why we. Yeah. We'll just
That's why we're at work and you guys ain't.
All right. So let's have a look. We see a nice rejection. We can, if we do see, what I ideally want to see with this candle is actually. Let me draw this a bit. Let me get this a bit bigger. So we see that rejection here.
So this
So
is
this is obviously the weekly time frame.
weekly gold, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
So what we want to see is this candle hopefully rejecting into this area, hopefully not that big. So you see a nice rejection and then start to push further higher. So obviously we've got this target here to reach. If it doesn't, then hopefully it close above that and so on, continue. As we know, gold potential always go up because it's, you know, it's unless people stop using gold, stop buying jewelry, stop using it for electronics, we probably won't, you know, we might see some back at those all-time highs again. Is that it? Almost pretty close.
Yeah.
I did see something. Oh no, gold. Was it gold that filled the wick or something? No,
Yeah,
something.
it was gold.
But no, there was something else that I remember seeing, and I told it was gonna fill the gap. I can't remember what it was. Fill the gap. What was it?
No, it was gold.
It was
like,
gold.
It was
Was
gold.
Look at the
Like
lower
our-
time frames.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. There we go. Fill the wick.
So this is
hourly time frame. Look at that. Yeah, so that's the wick we wanted to fill. So what we were talking about for a while was internally in the office we had this sort of structure, and then we had that wick to be filled. And now it took a while, but eventually pushed up. It was a bit of a messy ride, but we eventually filled it. But look at the interesting thing. So we had you can imagine while this candle was forming, must have been an extremely big green candle. But look where it stopped on that wick. So it shows you how strong wicks can be. So wicks don't lie. All right.
Don't lie.
Phil don't lie. Also, what's that guy's name? Socialist social. What's that guy?
official Phil.
There's a guy called Officialist Phil. Or
Official Phil. Report him.
Report him. He's pretending to be me, and I tried that. Instagram doesn't like it. So if you're watching this, official whatever
Officials
Phil,
underscore
underscore Phil, you're a joke. Alright, I saw there was a request for NASDAQ, so let's pop
Yeah.
on NASDAQ. Andre, you look thirsty.
Yeah,
You
man.
look
Andre
like
wants to get in some charts.
I don't do NASDAQ, man.
Oh man, you got to do a bit of
alright,
NASDAQ.
Look at- look
so
at
NASDAQ
the-
back at all-time highs. We should realistically get Kyle to do this.
Look
but
at
Buy
the-
on the pullbacks, brother.
back at
Yeah.
all-time highs. So what we saw very clearly, very beautifully, we saw a nice consolidation, and now we have that break above. We had a small little retest with that small little wick, so hopefully we can see it push further higher. And depending obviously on elections, my guess is if Joe gets elected, we'll see it go down. If we get Trump elected, you know, he's done it. It's not up. So history
What about
speaking.
Hillary?
Hillary? No. So that's just my opinion. No political opinion. It's just based on history. So let's have a look. Andre.
I'll go for the New Zealand. Have we done New Zealand yet?
No, we
No,
haven't.
yeah.
Andre loves working with this.
Ah, you know that. There you go. Woo!
Should write your location in there.
We've got heaps of Euro USD as well. So
Well, we had
Let's go.
done a video on Friday
Macedonia.
about the New Zealand dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and we cleared that area, 66,800, 66,300,
Ooh, look at that.
and now we're approaching to a very strong resistance level, 67,500, and we are
about to pop, whether to the upside or to the downside. So just bear in mind that we're approaching to this area, and we could see some sort of rejection here. I don't know how low we could go back. We'd go back here again, and then continue to the upside, and ultimately go back to the next target, which is around 69. Around 69. And just remember, there's a very strong resistance trend line that has just been broken. So the outlet target could be around 69 or even 70 in the next few weeks.
Take it away. I like this. There was I saw a little something here on the, was it the 30-minute or the daily? I think yeah, it was the forum. I don't know if you guys can see that. Actually, I'll probably use this tool.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Don't know if yeah, there we go. Nice
Yeah, we
little.
covered that in IGTV.
Yeah, did you cover it? My man, there we go. Nice, beautiful IGTV. Look at that. Also, a nice, clean little retest. This is actually specifically a nice little pattern that showed up here afterwards. So what we saw is, like Andre did on his IGTV, we had that nice channel coming down. So guys, this is a very important thing for swing traders to use our channels, because you can trade internally in those channels. So if you have a look, you saw in that lower term time frame they work as well, but on swing trades they work a bit better. It's a bit more of a sort of flowing move. So we saw that first touch, we saw the second touch, and then we saw that third touch. So now we've got our first upper sort of channel trend line. Then what we had is we saw this move starting to move to the downside. I think there was there another one on the start? Did we have one first? No. So, but yeah, so we had that. Then we had one. We had these three touches. So now when we have this one, now we can start looking for a move to the upside. So obviously you could have had an entry here. You would have potentially, once it reached the area of interest, we could see there was a bit of support here. We could potentially have moved your stop loss to break even to prevent, in case like we see inside channels, they do respond to those. But once we had this sort of rejection on this zone over here, we could have easily started taking a trade, putting our stop loss below this channel level, and then we could have started moving to the upside. So we saw a bit of rejection here, and then we sort of started moving it up. So now obviously our target is we use this trend line here, put that first target down. Once that starts to reject, we could have used another entry just below that channel, or once this candle could have closed this rejection candle and moved stop loss obviously just above that zone. Now push the downside, we're looking for a connection of this channel over here. So nice clean move, clean zones. Once we reach, like I said, those internal support / resistance zones, we start to see the market do little hiccups like that candle close, we can look to move our stop losses to break even, just to protect those. When you trade, you always want to do three things when you take a trade. You want to take a win, so we got our third fund, most likely, or most wanted is a win. Our second one is if we can do a break even, or our first one is obviously we take a small loss. So that's obviously small loss is your stop loss, so you always manage your trades. But moving forward, we saw that nice trade up, we had a target at this continuing of this line. Now, what we saw is we saw rejection, potential push to the upside. We obviously had our internal support / resistance zones. We saw a nice clean wick come close to that, didn't quite reach it, I think. So keep that in mind. So obviously again here when you took your trade. But now what we saw is we saw this nice little support / resistance zone being created. So we saw that consolidation zone. We had a candle break above. This one was quite nice. It gave a lot of momentum. So we saw a little bit of a retest into that previous candle, and we started to move higher. Now, once we broke this wick, we saw that next candle retest into this wick zone and started pushing further higher. So there's heaps of nice opportunities in the market. You can see different ways to trade. We saw nice swing trading methods to trade, and we saw also nice sort of scalping, more day trading methods to trade as well. So everything, same market, different ways to trade it. But what is most important is always, these are the main things. You want to take your win, you want to take a break even or a small loss, and that's how you manage your losing.
Just wanted to mention something that you just brought up, is the stop loss. So every time you bring the stop loss to break even, just try to go below and go into profit with your break even, your stop loss. Otherwise, this spread might take your profitability. So just be very careful with that. Sometimes you see people putting their stop loss on the right, like where they place the trade, and then they forget about the spread once the market goes back, and they get the spread, and they always like, oh, I lost money in this trade. Why? But just have in mind that you have to place the stop loss below the if you're selling below the entry point.
Yeah, so spread and commissions, you need to take that in mind. So obviously, with us, we have a very nice, very low commission on our prime account, very tight spread on our prime account. So we have a 6 USD per one lot trade. So obviously, if you take a one lot trade and your trade goes into profit, make sure you pop that just above break even. So what that means is you need to take into account that $6 commission, and also, you know, that very nice little tight spread. So like Andre mentioned, buy, sell. But let's have a look at further charts. I think we've got some more options we want to look at.
Requests here. Okay.
Pound chiff.
So we've got pound, Swiss franc, CAD yen, pound dollar.
Pound chuffy.
That's the one, pound chiff.
It's going to be very similar to pound yen.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
and pound dollar.
Pretty
Thing is,
similar.
the dollar and the Swiss franc, again, another range-bound currency, right? So
Yeah, we had a very similar note, but it wasn't quite in that that downward movement. We saw more of a consolidation here. We saw a couple of breakouts, some consolidation that's hit this low, and then we saw some more retests. This is nice, actually. I quite like this. This is quite nice. So we see these candle structures form below it, saw the close, and we saw this retest into this previous consolidation zone to push further higher. We had the push, reached the wick, saw the next retest. Again, we saw another retest. There's an opportunity to take the trade. Nice push further higher, back to that wick, another retest. So this keeps going. We saw the push higher, and then we start to see this consolidation. So obviously this is a no trade zone. And then once we break above it, this candle over here, we had a nice entry, stop loss below. Now obviously you want to, as market opens, if you were already in this trade, you want to start managing your stop loss, putting it just below that low to hopefully continue further higher.
so you're looking at areas of pullbacks at the moment, as well as, you know, you had that initial market open push. Now it's kind of chilling out a bit, and you're looking for the next opportunity as liquidity comes back into the market to take it higher, I would say. Just take you through.
You always make mistakes.
Can we cut it?
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, a little double toppy, yeah?
Double toppy.
Double toppy. I like it. That's very nice. But this is not nice.
No.
It's very nice.
We can see the prices here.
Pretty bad.
At 122.
Yeah.
But again, you got your swing trade opportunities, right? So I mean, you already missed this. Now you need to wait for a rejection of the zone to potentially push back down. So we always have nice
That's it.
little potential trades.
What was it then?
Absolutely, sir.
This.
Another change of COVID.
Everyone wants to see Nasdaq. We've already done Nasdaq.
We've already done Nasdaq. Please, sir. Just change this. The camera's a little bit off. We'll just move it in a bit here. There we go. Shiv who? Who's Shiv? He's my cousin.
Yeah.
We were talking about this Kiwi CAD for a while, and as you can see, cool. This is basically playing into the fact that you got CAD and the Kiwi, which are both strong, relatively strong currencies at the moment. So this is a multi-year. Wrong one. 2016.
We don't do exotics, guys. No exotics. Exotics are for people who want to lose money.
This is a multi-year trend line, and is at 2020 level now. So this is predicting a bit of weakness in the Kiwi dollar with respect to the Canadian dollar. So as Miss Andre just pointed out, we did touch that nice low of 84.83. So we could see, if this does hold, we could see a bit more play within that area here. So there's a nice 200-300 pips to play in over there if you were interested in looking at Kiwi CAD. That's one we'll just get onto. We've already done pound yen in depth. Let's look at Nasdaq.
Everyone wants to look at that.
I mean,
We'll do Nasdaq one more time, but we don't do exotics. I see a couple of requests for exotics. Exotics are just You don't want to trade exotics, guys.
See,
Just
the thing
leave
is,
it.
if you look on this 4 hour, Nasdaq is obviously very nice and zonal, and you've got this high here. What level is that? Just above 12k. So essentially, you're looking for, in my view, you're looking for any area sub 12k as a buy area. This is your supply zone, right? That's where you expect buyers to come back into the market to search for that new leg higher. And I mean, as you can see, it's an accelerated move to the upside.
Hey Nish, would you call this a wealth transfer?
Yeah, this is putting more money into the 1% sands. There's nothing else.
Because
to
what we're
describe.
seeing is during this coronavirus, we're
So-
seeing people lose their jobs, lose money, and we're seeing the
it's
stocks
rich.
go up and all the rich get richer, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. Well, the Fed were only designed to put money. Oh man, why can I? I'm just gonna. This is the unemployment ratio, right? We're currently at 10% in the USA.
Wow.
So it's 10% of people officially unemployed. But
From
today,
3 to 10%.
this week we've got NFP, which is expected to be around 1 million. Okay, so that will bring that figure down to 9% in theory. But what we've seen is throughout this entire recovery period, your unemployment has gone down from, at one stage it was at 20, 15, 10%. So this is a recovering employment ratio. But a lot of this is hype buying. So if you see, this is your recovery point, which was around the 10k mark. Yeah, that was your high before we had that March 23rd crash, and then the recovery back into it. But a lot of this is obviously very low interest rates. So you've got low interest rates, and what does that mean? So investors have less of an incentive to put their money in their bank, in their savings account, rather than if they're seeing a 23% yield in this NASDAQ, they want to shift all that money back into this index to look for returns, right? And it's not only investors, retail investors that are doing it, it is funds, pension funds, bank portfolios. A lot of money is being put back into the index. So this is your money flow, pretty much your way. We talked about this a lot. It's your smart money index, right? And it's clearly up. It's not correlating with any economics, nothing like that. It's just seeking higher highs, and there's nothing really stopping this. But Mr. Phillip did say, he touched upon the election this year. Joe Biden will, of course, look at increasing corporate tax, which could bring this down. But in reality, the Fed are still going to keep that pretty much at 0% rate. So there's nothing fundamentally changing with the banks. So my expectation is for this to increase.
Sorry guys, I'm not doing live requests, but we'll answer your questions on here. We've got a question for Aussie dollar.
We just did Aussie dollar.
Did we? Okay,
Yeah.
and Euro GBP. We can do Euro GBP. Euro GBP, I expect will just be consolidating, won't it?
Let's have a look. You want? Yeah. Let's go for it.
What's GAUC? Is that
Pound
GBP AUD and USD Cad?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Probably zoom
So
out,
we
Mr.
did
Andre.
gold.
Yeah, it's just kind of
We did pound yen.
Okay, this is the euro pounds consolidation on a daily time frame.
So this is euro pound right now, guys. What's the
Consolidation
time frame?
daily. So
Daily.
we just cleared this little area here. So we're there's a lot of pressure to the downside. It's sitting around 89 at this stage. Yeah, we could see prices moving to the 88, 500, and just stay within this consolidation zone, perhaps. And if it breaks here, we could see prices coming to this 87, 86, 87, or worst case scenario, bring prices to the upside, break 90, 91 or 90, 95, 500, and bring prices to 94. This is long term. but let's go a bit deeper now. This is 1 hour time frame. Price just broke this area, 89,100. Created this little low, retested this candle, filled the wick here, brought price to the upside. There's this candle here. This one, there's no wicks or nothing. Sorry guys.
Mr. Andre.
I am so sorry. There you go.
Abuelo.
There's no wicks here, so we could see prices moving to the upside, perhaps retest this candle here, bring prices down again, or if we break, we could see prices moving to the upside, 89,500 or 89,500, or if we retest this zone, we could see prices going back again to perhaps 89 flat. This is a Euro JBP 1 hour time frame. Do you have any taking this one? Yeah, go ahead.
I saw a bit of something here when you're on the higher time frame. We'll go back to the daily. Maybe what's the 4 hour look like? I saw here something at daily. So let's zoom in a bit. I'm not sure if you guys can see it too well. So what we had is we did have this nice sort of support / resistance zone right over here. We saw also, so it's a bit of a zone here really. What we saw is we saw a nice little break, and then we saw a nice retest here to push further down. So obviously the target that we had, if we look to the left, we had no traffic. We had no traffic, and then we look a bit more and we see this nice little wick here. So if we look carefully, we can see it pretty much. If I can get a straight line here, we pretty much, not really straight line, never mind. But we've pretty much filled that wick, so that wick has been filled. Now if we pop down to the lower term time frames looking for more day trade ideas, if we drop down to 30 minutes, let's zoom out a bit, see a bit better. Actually we'll go to the 1 hour so we can kind of break it down for you a bit more. What we had is we saw a nice consolidation, we saw a fake out. So we had this consolidation zone, come on brother, and then we had a push in, and then we had that break back down into it. We saw a retest of that area, and we saw a rejection of the zone, and now we saw that nice break to the downside. Now what we saw here, this candle closed right below sort of these candle closes over here, so that gives us a nice indication that the market could continue further down. We saw a nice retest of that zone with that candle, and we saw that clean push to the downside. Now if we look to the 30-minute time frame, we can see a bit better of, thank you, we can see it a bit better. So now let's have a bit more of an in-depth zone. So what we remember, I'll just break it down for you again. We had that consolidation zone, we saw that fake out, we had that retest, so this is a consolidation zone here, and then we saw that was that retest, we saw them move back up, and we saw the break, and then again we saw that retest of the zone. So obviously this break over here closed below these bundles of candles over here. On that side to the left, we saw a retest, we saw a push back down. Now the nice thing is here, once we had that break and retest, we actually had another opportunity to get back into the market. So the market was nice enough to give us a second chance in this trade. So obviously let's pull it back. We had that support that was created, we had that support that was broken, and we had this internal / support resistance zone. We saw the break, we saw the retest, and we saw the close. So now the nice thing the market gave us, again, this was actually a very nice move to do. We saw the candle close, open and close was here. We saw when this candle closed, this next one retested the zone. So there's your another entry, potential entry. So what we could have done is we could have taken an entry once we saw this candle turn red. We could have pushed our stop loss just below, and then obviously look for that wick. We looked on the daily time frame, which was right about here, and we saw that wick being filled. So we had a nice, almost, what's this? It looks like a about a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. So we had a entry, we had our stop loss, and we had a nice take profit, probably around about here, for that wick to be filled. Nice clean move, rejection, super clean move, push the downside, take your profits because now it's starting to consolidate, reaching an unclear market. If we continue in here, you could either break to the upside, and you could, if you didn't have that proper risk management, you would have broken even. And if you didn't take profit, if it does push to the downside, you're lucky. But right now we are in uncertain times. We don't know what the market can do. But this is a nice, clean little setup that the market did give us. So do we have any other more requests? Nothing.
I think that's pretty much it in terms of FX majors. People have still been asking for gold, so we've done gold already. We've done GJ, we've done Nasdaq.
I saw a question, sorry, about someone asking about exotics. So the reason why we don't like exotics is because professional traders don't trade exotics. You get, obviously, that's a new trader question. So who do we get trading exotics? New traders. And what do new traders do? They make mistakes. So they don't move nicely. Banks don't really want to trade it. So your swaps tend to be extremely high. Your spreads tend to be extremely high because there's no volume in the market. So we always talk about this, guys. If you look on these major pairs, even now we can see it's a market close. As the spread's fairly tight here.
As you said that, someone's just asked for dollar rand.
Dollar rand. Okay, so dollar rand is so bad we don't even show it. But like I said, guys, exotics. This is the biggest thing for me in exotics are the spread, because the spread here, obviously Euro GBP spreads a little bit wider. This is the 30-minute time frame because we've got our European market closed, so that means our Europe and the GBP market's closed. So we don't have any volume in here, but we can see the spreads is not too wide. But if we had an exotic, guys, the spread the spread will probably be double or triple the size in this. This is the raw spread. So this comes straight from the liquidity pools, straight from the LPs. So, and we have some of the best conditions in the Forex market. So you probably have, you'll have very wide spreads on the exotics. I think the only exotic we have to offer is the Mexican peso cross.
Yeah.
USD Mexican peso.
But other than that, guys, the exotics are a very, very dangerous pair to trade. So unless you're probably one of the best traders in the world, don't trade exotics. I don't touch exotics. I used to when I was a new trader because I was new and
Or if you're looking to punt,
if you're looking to punt, you're new. Then
you just go 2 lots short pound yen.
no. don't. Punting is the easiest way to make and lose money, just like that.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't touch
Puntelli.
it. Okay. Anything else? What else do we have?
I think that's all, guys.
Is it?
Yeah, Aussie Swiss franc.
Yes.
Is that
Aussie chuff.
All right, Aussie chuff. Let us know your final request, guys. All right, we got one for Euro Kiwi and Aussie Swiss franc.
I'll do Aussie, and you can do Euro. You can do Euro Kiwi. It's right here. Aussie chuff.
Sounds good.
Aussie chuff.
chuff?
Alright, okay.
So I think we done pound Aussie or.
Okay, so Aussie Swiss franc. Let's start from our daily time frame.
Oi.
Oh.
Is that unnecessary channel there?
Okay, we have Andre's favorite thing. We have a double toppy here. Okay, so we see this resistance being reached. We saw it right now. Nice, big, strong candle. If we do break, obviously we have that high. I think we've already done this. I think, haven't we?
We've done a lot of Aussie. See, this pattern is very clear on Aussie yen, Aussie dollar. It's pretty much.
Yeah, we've already done Aussie. Yeah, we've already done this.
All right.
What
else was the other
yeah,
one? Pound Swiss franc. That again will have a very. Euro Kiwi. Let's switch it up, man. So,
Euro NZD.
Chuff.
Okay, I
This is
said
weekly.
straight away. This is the weekly time frame. What we saw is a beautiful little projection. Push back down. There it is.
Wow.
Maybe possible
Maybe.
inverted shoulder. So this is not
Maybe.
confirmed, guys. This is a possible hidden shoulder. Obviously, if we break further down lower, it's been invalidated. So keep an eye on this. If you're looking for potential trades to the long side, make sure to use that stop loss. But I personally wait. We can see here there's not really a rejection yet. Big strong candle. If we can see on the lower term time frame start to see some rejections, maybe we could look for potential moves for the higher. I'm not sure what the swap is on this, but remember, this is a weekly time frame, so if you're looking for a very long position, always make sure what the swap is on these pairs. So how you do that is you right click on your pair, go down to specifications.
Oh, and go
Oh,
to the
okay,
page.
go to the page. Okay, so he's just going to go get it for you quickly. But that's what you do. So you right click on the pair and you go to specifications. On your phone, you hold it down, you can look at specifications. Okay, there it is. So we can see here. So we have a long position. If you have a long position on this, you're losing money. You're losing about $8 per one lot that you trade. So just keep that in mind. Now, swap becomes a very important role in swing trading, which you have to be careful of. So if you do swing trading, swaps kind of like if you're investing, you're getting paid dividends or vice versa. So if the market consolidates, right, and you've got a negative swap, like we saw here, we've got about $8 negative per one lot. So I was just trying to figure out how to draw that per one lot. So if you go long and the market consolidates, every day ticking on, So you got your Monday to Tuesday, which is your $8, but then we have Wednesdays. So Wednesdays, except for oil, Friday on oil is triple swap. So Wednesday we have a triple swap. Not us, but the central banks. But if it does push up, make sure your profits start out taking a swap. But once you reach your target, you need to close that trade, because if you hold on to it and you've got a negative carry, a negative swap, you're going to start. The swap's going to start eating into your profits. But now, the nice thing is if you play it smart and the market's in consolidation, now a lot of investors do this, it's a very clever thing to do. The market consolidates and you're in a positive carry, so we saw here is about $1 positive for your swap. If the market just stays and you're staying break even pretty much, you can continuously count up swaps. So that's how you make profit without the market moving if you're a swing trader. Like I said, investors do this all the time. They keep their money in their portfolio. And their swap just continue. That's a little pie chart supposed to be. So the money stays there, but the profits come from the swap. I think Warren Buffett made $600 million from Coca-Cola swaps, from dividends. So the CEO of Coca-Cola made $60 million in a year. Warren Buffett made $600 million off the dividend payments. So if you play it smart, guys, you can do it well. But always make sure to check out those swaps if you're going to trade long-term positions.
I think we'll probably end it there, lads.
That's it.
Yeah.
Unless Mr. Andre.
We've got to post this on IGTV later, so we've got to say
Do I have something?
Do you have something? Do you have something?
Let's go. USD Cad.
Oh,
yes, we haven't done that yet.
Alright, USD Cad, guys.
Take notes, lads.
Last pair, USD Cad will push through on that.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Now let's start with the weekly.
Woo!
Guys, that was, what pair was that I just did?
Euro pound.
Euro pound. That was Euro pound.
We did a video last week about the USD Cad. We're approaching to 130. This is a weekly time frame. Very, very close to the area. We have broken this zone on the daily, which was here. We have broken that, so we're approaching to this first zone here, 130, and ultimately 129 something. Now, if that holds, we could see prices. This is a very dangerous area. A lot of buyers will come and try to bring the price to the upside. We could see prices moving, let's say 200 and something bips. Now, if we break this ultimate low, which is around here, 129, what we see here? We see a big drop to, I don't know, 120.
Someone get a ruler.
That's far away. So just be mindful of that zone.
Someone get him a ruler. Mr. Andre loved drawing straight lines.
I know, I'm so sorry, it's very difficult. It's a long board. So yeah, just be mindful. Okay, let's see the 1 hour time frame. My market has just opened. We have a very strong bullish candle here. Engulfish, how do you call it? Bullish engulfing candle.
There we go.
So we could see prices retracing to this area here. Where is the Fibonacci?
Oi!
Potentially buy the week on CAD.
We are approaching to 61%.
Nice.
Okay, and you can
Maybe zoom in.
use
Zoom in.
some,
Can you zoom in? I can't really see it. Sorry.
you can use some.
There we go.
Oh yeah, that's better. So you can use some.
It's better you wait.
Some
Fibonacci to give you some clarity in the market. So this is some sort of indication that we could potentially move to the upside. So we have a 61% here, which matches with this candle here. Could see prices visiting this area, perhaps next 78, which is 130, 650, around this area, and then see prices moving to the upside. I'm just using this as because I can see this candle. If this goes below 130, 600, just avoid the trade, you know. But just be very mindful, we are approaching to 61% retracement. This is 1 hour time frame. We could see prices moving to, we could see only, okay? This is 131.
Nice.
Okay, guys, do you have any
Use
other
horizontal line.
questions?
Use horizontal line, but why don't you bring us a ruler and we will. Alright, let's just see one last thing while we finish this up, Mr. Andre. Actually, you can keep on to that. I'll go on with here. What we saw, actually I'll get rid of that. What we saw, what I like to see is pretty nice and clear. Like Andre said, we do have that Fibonacci coming up, but we saw a nice little rejection of support. So we saw a break, we saw that retest. So if like Andre said, we push past that zone, obviously you've already missed the entry with this engulfing candle on this side, and obviously this retest of this internal support that resistance zone. This candle potentially gave us an entry, but it's pretty much passed now once we hit that retest of that internal support / resistance zone. Clean move to the left. So this could potentially be a retest for a further push to the downside. Obviously, if we close below this zone with the, not sure what candle will be, but if we do get a close below the zone, look for potential further retests to push further higher. Now, obviously, we need to look at our high term time frame, so we'll zoom out a bit. There's nothing really on the higher term, is there? No support coming up. Oh, I see this. Look at this. Okay, hold on. I saw something here. Is it something? Am I seeing it? I think it's a channel. I think we are moving in a channel.
Yeah, the overall view of the market is just a drop.
I think it is a nice drop. Okay, so here we go. We can see a nice potential target coming up. So beautiful channel on this the 4-hourly time frame of USD Cad. Again, we're seeing it starting to, we saw it still respecting our internal support / resistance zones, but our potential target can be on the zone. Now, we need to be a bit careful because we saw, like I mentioned, we already broke down the internal structure. So our next target would be here. So if you can get an internal entry, preferably if you're a swing trader, you're not looking for this, you're looking for the big touches. So obviously we saw touch 1, touch 2, there was our first trend line. What is a trend line? And then we saw our entry. So we've got touch 1, touch 2 for the top, we had touch 1 and touch 2. Now we can finally start drawing that channel to the downside. So we started to get that. Unfortunately, this one didn't quite reach it, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. If we did use proper risk management and we did use our entries right, you would, because swing traders, you wait a bit longer, so we would have been fine. Obviously, you take your entry, as it reaches that zone, you put your stop loss above, you would still be in that trade because there's your entry line. Even if you move your stop loss to break even now, you would still, that's a very horrible line, you get my drift, it's around that zone, you would still be in that trade. So you would have caught this nice, beautiful long swing trade move. This is running deep into profit now, and you could potentially start looking at taking your profits once it reaches that zone. So that's the thing about swing trading, you need to be extremely patient. I mean, this trade has been going since July, 30th of July. It's almost a month you're in this trade. So this trade has been running for about a month. It's you could have potentially stacked on the positions as it reaches more of your targets. So it's a pretty nice, clean trade. I think this was a beautiful swing trade, and it gives you nice opportunities. So we've got our touch 1, touch 2, and now if we get touch 3, this thing will become even stronger to the downside. So we potentially look to continue further into the zone. However, if it breaks, you can look for those entries on the break. Look for a break entry and look for a retest to get that move further to the downside. So that could be a very nice, clean structure. However, like Andre said, if we start to push the upside, we do need to keep in mind all these internal support / resistance zones. So there's a couple nice breakdowns. So always the market gives you swing trade entries, gives you investment entries, gives you short-term entries, gives you scalping entries. So there's enough for everyone to get their fill if you use your proper risk management. So I think that's probably it, Mr. Andre. You, Mr. Anish, anything on your side?
I think that's all good.
Perfect.
We'll probably end it there unless Mr. Andre wants to.
We are used. Oh yeah, let's have a look. Actually, you want to look at the swap?
Correct.
Let's have a look at the swap. So if you were so it's a. But the thing is, if you had, man, my stuttering is getting worse these days. If you had a position on, you would be deep in profit now. I mean, it's a lot of profit in here. Let's quickly. I just want to measure it quick. I just want to quickly measure it. So we took the entry around about. Let's say we took it around about here. I mean, you are 300 pips in profit. So I mean, if you took a 1 lot trade, let's quickly, my math in my head is not that good. What's it? $300. One? No. If
What is
it was a one lot, you'll be $3,000 in profit.
Yeah.
So if you took one lot, so this is the power of lots, guys. One lot right now, you would have been about 3K in profit. I mean, if in about a month. So a month is what, 28 days?
20 trading days.
20 trading days. So I mean, 4 times what's 80. So you have 3K profit, and your swap took away like $80. Right? Is that right? $80? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got $80 negative with your swap. Obviously, your commission was negative $6. So you got a total.
It's around $100.
Yes. Let's say you got about $100 negative, but you've got 3K profit, right? So I mean this doesn't matter. Like I said, if the market moves, your swap and your commission doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because you'll be sitting 3K in profit. If you had one lot, and obviously if you go down lots, your profit will decrease, but so will your commission and your swap. So you catch it right, guys. The market moves. This doesn't matter. This really doesn't matter. So there you go. If it wasn't profit, it'd be good. But I think we'll end it there, guys.
Stay tuned,
Thanks
trade safe.
so much for watching. Stay tuned, trade safe. Andre, what's yours again?
Stay tuned and trade consciously.
Consciously. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your markets.